Money line number one is that going to work will make you rich. There's a famous book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which if you're starting your financial education journey, I highly recommend you read it. But the first page in the first chapter of the book starts by saying the rich don't work for money. The poor and the middle class do. And I still remember the first time I read this, it blew my mind understanding that rich people look at their money very differently than everybody else. I'll show you. The majority of people look at money like this. I make money and then I buy DS. What's DS? Dumb stuff. And then you work to make even more money. That way you can buy more dumb stuff. You make more money, you drive a nicer car. You make more money, you live in a bigger home. You make more money, you go on some more fancy vacations. This is how the majority of people operate. And it doesn't matter if you're making $50,000 a year, $500,000 a year, or $50 million a year. Most people who earn money live in this type of financial system, but people who are actually financially wealthy, what they do is they're working to earn money, not so they can buy dumb stuff. They make this money, that way they can buy investments. And then they use their investments to buy the dumb stuff. So you're working to buy investments, that way investments can pay you more money to buy more dumb stuff. You make more money, you buy more investments. And then when your investments pay you more money, you buy more dumb stuff. It's a different way of thinking than this because this takes more delayed gratification. This requires you to make that $10,000, not buy a Rolex, buy some stocks, buy some real estate, buy some other investments, and then wait for those investments to pay you, and then use the cash from those investments to then pay you that dumb stuff. It takes more time, it takes more work, it takes more sacrifice, but this is where the real long-term wealth is built. The majority of people are just working to buy a bunch of dumb things, but what wealthy people want to do is they want to buy the investments first and then let the investments pay for the dumb stuff. Money line number two is you can save your way to wealth. Let me ask you a question. How much is this $100 bill worth? It's a trick question. The $100 is worth $100, but how much $100 can buy you is going to change depending on when you're alive. Because the $100 will buy you way less stuff today than it would have 10 years ago. And it's also going to buy you less stuff than it would have 20 years ago. And the reason why is because our money, or what we call money, these paper dollars, are really just pieces of paper. And the value of these paper dollars are falling because of something called inflation. Now, inflation became popular after the pandemic, but it didn't start during the pandemic. We've been seeing inflation for many decades. In fact, the real start of bigger inflation numbers started after 1971 when our dollar was taken off of the gold standard. Before that, if the United States government wanted to print and spend more money, the Federal Reserve Bank and the government needed more wealth. And that wealth before 1971 was measured through gold. If the government wanted to spend more money, they needed more wealth, meaning more gold. But then we ran into some financial issues in 1971. So President Richard Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard on August 15th, 1971, and that allowed the government to spend a lot more money, and it allowed the Federal Reserve Bank to print a whole lot more money, which then created more inflation. Because now you can print more dollars without needing more wealth, which then causes the value of the dollar to drop, which has changed the way that money works. Let me show you. If we go back in time and we take a look at money back just 2 decades ago in 2004, what we'll see is that in 2004, the median household income was around $57,500. And if you wanted to buy a new car, it would cost you around $21,600. And if you wanted to buy a home, the median home in America was selling for $195,000. Let's fast forward to today. The estimated median household income in 2024 is $78,000. That's an increase of 35%. While at the same time, new cars are selling for around $47,000 on average, which is an increase of 117%. And the median home in America today is selling for around $412,000, which is an increase of 111%. This is what inflation does. It means that the prices of things are rising, and in many instances, it's rising faster than incomes. Because yeah, incomes have gone up, just not as fast as your housing costs, your car costs, and a lot of other things that you purchase to survive. But that's just part of the picture. What happens if you were to save up, I don't know, $10,000 in 2004, and you took that money and you put it under your mattress? Or you took that $10,000 and you put it in a bank account that's paying you 0.03%. Then what? Well, the $10,000 would be essentially $10,000 today in 2024, but the prices of things would have risen a whole lot faster, which means that $10,000 that you worked to save up in 2004, that you worked really hard to earn, that you worked hard not to spend, that you worked hard to save, lost a whole lot of buying power because you thought you were doing the right thing, which is saving. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't save any money. This means you want to save your money strategically. Number one, if you have savings, look into a high interest savings account, but save some money for an emergency and then save some money for your investments. That's where the wealth is built, because you want to be growing your money, not just having your money sit there dead, because if your money is sitting there, it is losing. It is dying because inflation is eating away at the buying power of your savings. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.